Dominic, how have you assessed this year's Melbourne Cup?
Look, it's a really good field. It's a strong field, and I think that a couple of the outstanding chances can rate so high, it's going to make it very difficult for the body of the horses who are just fighting out for fifth prize money or worse, really, I think.
Okay, those high-rated horses, who have you got in the mix?
Well, Yucatan ran a quite phenomenal race. I mean, the horses that ran second, third and fourth to him in the Herbert Power have come first, second and fourth in the Lexus on Saturday, and his performance, he probably had another 3 lengths up his sleeve. I asked the computer to assess the horse as a 1.3 length winner and a 2.3 length winner and a 3.3 length winner and a 4.3 length winner, and unsurprisingly each time the collateral ratings come up with a higher answer. If I assess him as a 4.3 length winner and he repeats that tomorrow, he's an odds-on chance. At a 1.3 length winner, he's still around about a 4 or 5 to 1 chance. So anyone can watch that film and see the quality of the win and the dominance, that if he turns up tomorrow, he's going to win the race.
I guess when you're taking those form lines, you must then get a gauge through a Prince of Aran. How have you got him rated?
Well, Prince of Aran won a standard Lexus. There's been a few Lexus winners that have rated extremely high and come out and perform brilliantly in the Melbourne Cup. But most Lexus winners rate lower in the Melbourne Cup than they do in the Melbourne Cup, than they did in the Lexus, overwhelmingly so. And however, if he's got a 4.5 kilo drop in weight, which is a positive because the standard is only around 3.25 kilos drop. And I think that if Prince of Aran runs up to his run on Saturday, he's around about the 5th favourite. In fact, if he runs to that performance, he'd probably run 3rd in the Cup.
Who have you got on the sort of 2nd and 3rd lines of betting?
Best Solution has got an extraordinary favour from the handicapper, not to be penalised, I think. He's an outstanding horse when he got here, and he proved it with a brilliant win, and not to get penalised for winning such a multi-million-dollar race is surprising to me, I must say. I don't conform to the view that it's easier to go from 52 kilos to 53 kilos than it is to go from 57.5 to 58.5. I don't agree with that. Physics would tell you that he's going up by a less percentage of handicap weight. But putting that mathematics and physics aside, if Best Solution would have won the 2017 Caulfield Cup and won all those races in Germany along the way, he'd be carrying more than 57.5 in this year's Melbourne Cup. So the fact that he most recently won the Caulfield Cup, I think he merited a penalty. So I think anyone who's buying a ticket on Best Solution and getting $12, $13, $14 is getting the best of it.
Okay, yeah. And who else are the leading chances in your eyes?
I'd like to see Avilius run well, obviously. I'm associated with James as my godson, and I work very, very closely with him. The horse has surprised, I think, to get this far, and he's got a brilliant career ahead of him, the horse. But James has converted him from an 88 rater to a 109 rater in 5 minutes, really. And, he has got a great acceleration. It's completely unknown to James and to the jockey and to anyone in the stable whether the horse will run 2 miles. He's just got to present into the race, present late and by the jockey, and if he's got the lungs to carry him 2 miles, well, he'll be competitive.
On your figures, can you sort of pinpoint a horse who's improving at the right time for this year's Melbourne Cup?
Well, the adaptation from Europe to Australia is proven after 1 run, and that's why I like to see them have 1 run. The only horses that have performed without a run off the ship is the only winner has been Rekindling, and others of note who finished close up were Fioronte and Red Cadeau a couple of times. Now, all of those horses have something in common. They all ran in the middle of September. That's not the case with some of the horses this year. Middle of September is only 7 weeks. Lay off to the Melbourne Cup. It's nothing like to travel, and then that's nothing for a European. But so I feel that once they've come here and proven themselves, like Best Solution has, like Yucatan has, I think that one of them rates up to their capacity. The others can't catch them.
How much pressure is there going to be in this year's Melbourne Cup for you?
I think that it's about standard this year. The computer makes an assessment of pace, early pace. It measures the first 1/8 of a race and then the second 1/8 of a race and comes up with a number. And the number here is exactly standard for a Melbourne Cup. So it's not a fast pace, but I see Runaway and Venture Mask being the two early leaders. I imagine that if Rostopovich can lead in a Cox Plate, he's got the speed to go forward and he's got to take advantage of that barrier. Ace High and the favourite are drawn outside, and so they'll come across, and I think they'll want to try and settle down 4th, 5th, 6th, one off the fence, and hope that there's enough speed. So I feel that most horses, there's a lot of horses drawn wide that haven't got much speed that'll have to go back. So a horse like Best Solution should land in a really good spot, maybe somewhere between 6th and 11th, one off the fence, which is a nice spot for that horse. Yeah.
Taking into account everything that you've just given us, who's going to win the Cup on Tuesday?
Well, Yucatan's been despised by the market because it drew the bad barrier. In 2009, Shocking did similarly, and we haven't had this rain. It's voided Melbourne so far. It was down at Geelong all the way down to the Tasman, and it came through. There was quite a lot, and it missed Melbourne. And I think that if they do get a bit of rain tomorrow, there's a chance that the outside of the track is faster than the rail. There's a chance, and that's what happened in Shocking's year. So Shocking went out to $10 after a magnificent Lexus win, which, by the way, didn't get a penalty either, by coincidence, and won the race from barrier 21. So Yucatan's blown out because he's drawn a bad barrier. By 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, if it's proven that the barrier is a good place to be, I think Yucatan will get bet down to maybe $3.50. I think he'll get backed off the map.